Welcome crafters, Michelle here. I have a fantastic video for you today. I have a collection of works, my top 10 patriotic wreaths. These wreaths are constructed using different methods, techniques, and materials. I have so many wonderful wreaths to share with you. Let's go ahead and get started. For today's project, you're going to need a 14-inch wire wreath form from Dollar Tree. And if you can find the gold one, that would be great. If not, it's okay. You can use whatever color you can find. You're also going to need some pipe cleaners cut in half. And then we're going to be using the Polypro Mesh Ribbon. This is waterproof. It's 10 inches by 10 yards. And I did pick this up from Hobby Lobby. You want to cut your mesh into strips of 12 inches. You're going to be using the entire roll. You're also going to need one roll of patriotic ribbon. I'm going to be using this one I picked up from Dollar Tree, and they have several different ones to choose from, and I really liked this one, so this is the one I'm going to be using today. You'll need one roll. You'll want to take your ribbon and cut 6 pieces at 11 inches and dovetail their ends. I have my ribbon cut at 11 inches and I've dovetailed both the ends, and now I have half a pipe cleaner. I'm going to fold it together with the nice side on the inside of the fold. Put in a pipe cleaner, and then I'm going to pull that pipe cleaner together, and I want to scrunch in my ribbon here at the top so I can get a nice tight grip, pinch and twist. Just kind of open up your ribbon and have it go one to each side, just like that. You will need 6 of these. Now I'm cutting my mesh into strips at 12 inches, and I like to use a rotary cutter. I get a nice clean cut. This rotary cutter I picked up from Dollar Tree, so it's only $1.25, and it is well worth the price. For today's method, we're going to be doing my folded ruffle method. Now, I created this back in May of 2020 specifically to be used with Dollar Tree mesh because it frays, but it also works very well on 10-inch mesh. So you have your strip cut at 12 inches. You fold the cut ends over themselves by about 1 inch, so you form a 2. Go ahead and press that down. Then you start at the bottom and you scrunch up to the center, go to the top and scrunch down to the center. Take a half a pipe cleaner, place it on one side, wrap it around the bottom and pull up. You want your ends of your pipe cleaners facing up because this side has all of those cut ends tucked in together. You want to make sure that's the bottom of your bundle. And then I like to pull everything down so that I can get a good grip. You want to pinch and twist. And then you can open it up. And I think these are really pretty. They look like a little butterfly or a flower. And that is what your little bundle will look like. Now when you place this in and you start stacking them, it closes like a butterfly, so it'll fold up like this. You will not see the pipe cleaner at all. I'll show you one more time. So to attach our bundles to our wreath form, you're going to be attaching them to the 2 bars in the center of the wreath form. And in each section, you'll be placing 5 of the Deco mesh bundles. And then here on each crossbar, you're going to be placing 1 of the ribbon bundles. Now I've already done 2 full sections and I'm starting here on my 3rd section, so I've added 2 of the ribbon bundles. And you see this ribbon is pretty big, it stands out. I'm going to have my sign here in the center, and I think this simple design is going to be absolutely gorgeous. So you take your pipe cleaners, feed it from the front to the back around the 2 bars. Pull snug and give a twist or 2. Pull your pipe cleaners together and then fold them down and slide over your bundle. Now as you slide your bundle over, you want your 2 wings to come together and then slide over like a butterfly closing its wing. And then continue to add until you have 5 bundles per section. Now one 10-inch by 10-yard roll should give you a total of 30 bundles, which will be sufficient to do the base on this wreath. My wreath base is complete. I used 1 roll of 10-inch by 10-yard mesh. Here on the back you can see I attached everything to the 2 bars in the center, and I did place 5 bundles in each section and 1 ribbon on each crossbar. And I'm very pleased with how that turned out, and as you can see, you get no fraying with the folded ruffle method. This is the sign that we're going to be putting in the center on our wreath today. And to prep our sign, you're going to need some floral wire and full-length pipe cleaners. So I attached the floral wire here through the hole where the hanger was for the sign. I fed it in from the front and then wrapped it around the back, twisted it and left it long enough to attach to my wreath. And then down here on the 2 points furthest on the bottom, I attached a pipe cleaner, and I simply hot glued those on. And I want to place my sign right in the center. I want the tip to come up and to be in between the 2 ribbons, like that. And to attach this, you simply take your pipe cleaners and your floral wire. You separate your mesh until you can get down to that wire frame in the back, and you attach it to the wire frame in the back. Now you can attach it anywhere on those 4 bars that you need to get your sign to sit the way that you want it to. I have my sign attached and I'm really happy with that. It's nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere. Once you have it in its place and you've tightened it down, you want to make sure to trim and tuck your pipe cleaners. You don't want anything sharp on the back of your wreath. Now with what was left on the roll of the ribbon, I was able to get 1 piece cut at 18 inches and 2 pieces cut at 16 inches. One of the 16-inch, I did go ahead and dovetail the ends. This is going to be our tails. You want to start with the largest piece. Pull the ends over themselves by about 1 inch, and then you want to press down so that you can find the center. I always like to kind of fold up and see if I'm in the center. This will let me know if I need to move over or not. Okay, so right now this is my seam side. I want to turn that down. I'm going to take my 16-inch piece here and do the same thing. Cover the ends by about 1 inch. Press down to find the center. Turn it over so that the seam side is down, and then you'll place this one on top. So you have a smaller bow on top of a larger bow. Make sure you're in the center. And then your last piece here that you dovetailed, that's 16 inches, you just need to find the center. Place that on the back. Okay, and then you're just going to kind of scrunch it in the center. See, I did a little pinch and fold. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, I'm going to wrap it around to the back get it nice and snug and give a good twist. Sometimes kind of pull everything down. It helps me get a better grip. Okay. Go down to where the tails come out, give them a little twist and pull them down. And then just open up your loops. I think that's really cute, just a very basic bow. And we are going to take care of the center there with a little embellishment. And if I need to, I will shorten the tails, but I'm going to wait until I get my bow onto my wreath. We're going to place our bow, and I want to put mine right above the point here. I think that'll be very pretty. And all you need to do is take those pipe cleaners, feed it down through the mesh, and attach it onto the wire wreath form. Then you can do your final adjusting and trim your tails to whatever length suits you. Now for our final embellishment, I have these really adorable little star buttons that I picked up from Walmart. They come in red, white, and blue, and they do come in a couple different shapes and sizes. And we're going to be attaching these to our wreath using a combination of Aleene's Original Tacky Glue and hot glue. The hot glue will hold the buttons on until Aleene sets up. Once Aleene sets up, it'll be weather resistant, so you don't have to worry about anything falling off. I just squeezed out some of the glue here, and I have a little craft stick to make it easier for me to apply. Now the first one I want to apply right here to the center of my bow to cover up my pipe cleaner. And I've decided to go with the navy blue, and this is one of the large ones. So I'm just going to add a little bit of the Aleene's and then some hot glue and place it. I like that. I think that's very pretty. And now in between each of the areas where I have my ribbon, I'm going to be adding a couple of my stars here. And I have 12 to go, 2 in each section, so I pulled out 4 of each color. And I'm just going to be applying them the same way, a little bit of the Aleene's and some hot glue. And there you go, I'm all done. I got all of my buttons on. I think they were the perfect final addition for this wreath. They really bring out the ribbon and the star in the center that says welcome. I like the little bit more rustic and traditional feel of this wreath, and that's why I kind of went with the buttons. I didn't want anything too sparkly on this wreath. In fact, the only thing that has glitter is just the word here that says welcome. For our project today, you will need an 18-inch round wreath form. I picked this up from Dollar Tree. You will also need 16 full-length pipe cleaners. Now we're going to be making this wreath into a working wreath form. And to do that, here on the crossbar, you want to take your full-length pipe cleaner, feed it in underneath, pull it up so that it's relatively even, and give it a good twist. You want to do that on each crossbar, and then you also want to put one in between the 2 crossbars on the 2 bars on the outside. have all of my pipe cleaners attached. So on every crossbar, I have one attached from the inner bar to the center bar. And then in between the crossbars, I have one attached from the center bar to the outer bar. There are 8 sections for a total of 16 pipe cleaners. Now I have pulled out 3 rolls of 10-inch Deco mesh that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. Accent that with solid red and solid white. I'm also going to be adding a small amount of the dark blue, and this is 1 roll of the dark blue mesh that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. Here on your striped mesh, you want to cut your strips at 10 inches, so you have a square 10 by 10, and you will need to cut 16 pieces. For your red and your white, you want to cut again at 10 inches, but you'll only need 8 pieces of each. For our dark blue mesh, you want to cut strips at 15 inches, and you will need 16 pieces. This will take approximately a roll and a half of Dollar Tree Deco mesh. I have my mesh cut and we're ready to start to make our bundles. Now I'm going to be alternating on each bundle between a red and a white, but every bundle will have the striped and a blue. And we're going to be doing your standard ruffle method. So you want to lay down your mesh with the cut end at the top and the bottom. Take your bottom, you want to just fold that under just a little bit, and then scrunch across in the center. You want to fold down that cut edge, kind of place it. Now you can do this while you're holding it in your hand. I like to kind of tuck the ends under. Okay, so that's my first piece. I'm going to do the same thing here with my striped. So my cut is at the top and the bottom. Just fold it under a little bit. That helps with some fraying. Scrunch across. Again, fold those ends down. Then when you place, you want to place angled so you can see both pieces of your mesh. Again, I kind of curl those cut ends under. Okay, isn't that pretty? And then we're going to top it off with the dark blue, and we're going to do the Cruffle method with this one. And to do that, you lay out your piece. Now each piece is cut at 15 inches for the dark blue. You start at one end, and you want to do a nice curl. And I do about 3 rolls with the Dollar Tree mesh. I want to make sure those ends are nice and secure, and then pinch it. Turn around to the other side and do the same thing. And then in the center, go ahead and scrunch all the way across. Now this side that has the rolls, you want to turn that over. So any of those ends are always facing down. And then you have your Cruffle right there on top. So you have a really nice mix of red, silver, and blue. And now you're going to start to attach it once you've made your bundle. Now if you don't have a bow maker, you can always just put one in at a time with your pipe cleaners. I find that's a little difficult for me, constantly opening and closing. So I prefer to use my bow maker. Once you have your bundle together, just lift it out of your bow maker. Go to your next pipe cleaner. Place it in the center. And then tighten down your pipe cleaners. Give it a good couple twists. Then you can trim your pipe cleaners. I usually leave about a 1/2 inch and then push those ends down. Then just adjust your bundles so they sit nicely next to each other. Okay, and then my next one that I make, I'll use the white. Now I find that it's easier if you put the curl side facing down. So I'm just going to work my way around my wreath form here and alternate between the red and the white in the base until I get everything filled in. I have my wreath base complete and I think it looks so beautiful and absolutely patriotic. Now I have plenty of mesh left over. I did use 1.5 rolls of the Deco mesh from Dollar Tree. But the mesh that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, I have about half a roll left of the stripe and even more of the white and the red. So I have enough here to do a whole nother large wreath. But I'm really happy with my base. Now the reason why I wanted to do such a large wreath base is because I want to attach 2 of these gnome signs. And I want these guys to be right next to each other and kind of in the center so I can see my mesh all the way around. And then we're going to add some other embellishments. Now to prep our signs, you're going to need some floral wire, some pipe cleaners, and some craft sticks. Here at the top where the jute cord is to hang my signs, I'm going to remove this and add some floral wire on both of these. That's going to allow me to securely attach it to my wreath form. Now these 2 I want right next to each other, and I want them to be relatively even. So I'm going to use the lines here to help me make sure I'm getting them pretty even next to each other. So that looks about right. So right here in this area where they meet is where I'm going to attach it on the back. So I'm just going to hot glue a craft stick here to kind of help bond the 2 together. And I'm also going to add 2 pipe cleaners on the bottom of each sign. One here on the side. And then I'm going to place one also down here by the foot. I want to make sure both of the signs are nice and secure to the wreath base. I have all my pipe cleaners on. I did add one more piece of craft stick right here. I want to make sure that's nice and sturdy. And now I'm adding my floral wire. So you need to cut 4 pieces at about 10 inches each. And how I attach these is I come in from the front to the back. Then the other piece comes over the top. Just want to make sure that they're nice and even. pull to the back and give a couple twists. Okay, and then that leaves you the length to be able to attach it to your wreath form. And then to attach the sign to your wreath form, you just feed your floral wire and your pipe cleaners through the mesh until you can get down to the wire frame in the back. And then you attach it to the wire frame in the back. I'm going to go ahead and get my sign attached to my base, and then we'll move forward with decorating. I have my signs on and they are so nice and sturdy. I've started to add a little bit of my other embellishments. So I picked up a package of these picks from 99-cent store. So I'm placing one behind each of the signs here. I've already placed the one here to add a little bit of sparkle. And just feeding it down underneath the sign. And I'm adding hot glue onto that. Once I get it in there and in position, I'm going to glue the top part right here to the back of the sign, because I don't want that to move. Then you can open it up. I think that looks really cute. Now I'm planning on putting a bow in the center up here at the top, but I want to add a little something down here around the base. And to do that, I'm going to be using these, and I picked up one of each color. So you get 2 ornaments per pack, and I'm only going to be using the stars, and they are metal. They come on the jute cord here with some beads. I'll save those for another project. But I like these because they do come with a little eyelet there. And that's how we're going to be attaching it, is with floral wire. And then once I get it in position, if I need to add a little bit of hot glue to hold it there, I will. But hot glue doesn't normally stick too well to a metal surface, so that's why I'm really glad that they have these little eyelets. It'll make it much easier for me to attach them. And I do have one package in each color, red, white, and blue. To attach the stars, cut a piece of floral wire about 10 inches. Feed it through the loop there on your star. Pull it so it's nice and even. Then I pinch right at the base and give a couple twists. I want to keep my star in the same position. I don't want it sliding around on the wire. And then that leaves me with plenty of wire to feed through my Deco mesh and attach to the wire frame. And remember, these are going to be hanging, so take that into consideration when you're placing them. I'm going to get my stars placed, and then I'll come back and we'll work on the bow. I attached all of my stars, and I did them from here down, because this whole top section I'm going to put a nice big bow, and then I'm going to pull the tails to the side. But I'm really happy with everything so far, and I love my Mr. and Mrs. Gnome. They're both so patriotic. Perfect for this wreath. We're going to work on the bow now. So I have this red ribbon from Dollar Tree. This is 2.5 inches at 9 feet. This came out of their Christmas section. And then I have this really pretty 1.5 inch sheer blue ribbon. I did pick this up from Dollar Tree. And then this is 1.5 inches and it's white. I really like this ribbon. It's called Expressions. And this one I believe I picked up from craftoutlet.com. So I'm going to be using these 3 ribbons as my main part of my bow, and then I might sneak in a little bit of this ribbon, and this ribbon I did pick up from papermart.com, and this is 2.5 inches at 10 yards. But I'm going to do this part first and we'll see how it looks. So I want to start with my 2.5 inch ribbon. Measure your tails at 8 inches. Go ahead and pinch and then twist as you come through. On your tails, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing up. But as you come through and you go to make your loops, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing down. And I'm going to make 3 loops on either side. Let's see, at 4 inches. And now I'm going to go to my white ribbon. Again, I'm going to measure my tails at 8 inches and pinch and twist. And I'm going to make 3 loops on either side with this ribbon at 4 inches. And now I'm going to use this really pretty blue ribbon, and I'm going to do the same thing. Measure my tails at 8 inches and do 3 loops on either side at 4 inches. I'm sorry about that, my camera stopped. I did my blue the same way that I did the white, 3 loops on either side at 4 inches and my tails at 8 inches. And I've tied everything together with a full-length pipe cleaner, and now I'm just kind of opening up all my loops. I want this to be just kind of a big, messy looking bow. So I have my red, my white, and my blue. Okay, and then I need to add an additional pipe cleaner here to the back so that I can attach it to my wreath. So I just add a full-length pipe cleaner, give a couple twists, and then I take the short one and wrap it around one of the longer ones. This just makes it nice and secure and gives me enough pipe cleaner so that I can easily attach my bow to my wreath. See? Nice, big, beautiful bow. Now I'll trim my tails here once I get my bow onto my wreath. I have a better judgment of how long or short I want my tails. So I want to place my bow right in the center, right up at the top, and then I'm going to kind of pull the tails over to the sides. And to attach it, again, just move your Deco mesh aside until you can get down to the wire frame in the back and attach it to the wire frame. You can attach it anywhere on that wire frame that you want to get your bow to sit where you want it to. And there you go, I have my bow on, and I think that's the perfect final addition for this big, beautiful patriotic wreath. I had so much fun pulling this together, and I love the new items from Dollar Tree, the stars and the beautiful signs. To get started, you will need one of the 8-inch wreath forms that you can get from Dollar Tree. These come in a package of 2. And then you will need 1 roll of white Deco mesh, 1 roll of red Deco mesh, and 1 roll of the dark blue Deco mesh from Dollar Tree. And you will also need a package of pipe cleaners cut in half. To get started, I usually put 1 roll out on either side of my body, and then I leave the 3rd one here on the table. That way, as I'm working with them, they don't get tangled with each other. Then all I do is take the ends, and we're going to scrunch all of them together. And you want to keep them side by side. You don't want to layer them. If you layer them, it'll be harder when you go back to open up your poops and adjust your poops. And we are doing the poof method. This is my favorite method to use when I'm using Dollar Tree Deco mesh, because you do not cut the mesh and you have little to no fraying with this method. Okay, so you scrunch all 3 together. You get a pipe cleaner wrapped around there, pull it to the back, you get that nice and tight, and give it a couple twists. You want to make sure that's really tight because this is the end that we're securing. You don't want it to come undone. And then you're going to attach it right here on the middle ring where the crossbar is, and just stick the pipe cleaner on either side of that crossbar, pull it to the back, and give it a twist. And then to hide these ends, push the ends through, and then you pull them back through that pipe cleaner again. Pull it down nice and tight and give it a twist. So it looks like that. That will keep those ends in the back. And then once we come back around, we can tie the ends together and trim off anything that's extra. And then here on the pipe cleaners, I twist them down and then I cut them and leave them only about a 1/2 inch in length. And then I take those ends and I push them forward. You're also going to need something to measure with. I'm just going to use a ruler. So you want to start where you attached here at the wreath at the end of your ruler. And for this size wreath form, you want to measure to 6 inches, pinch. And then you take your pipe cleaner and you wrap it right around that point at 6 inches where you pinched it. Pull it to the back and give it a twist or 2. And then go to your wreath frame and you attach it right to that center bar. It looks like I'm going to tie down those ends again. Keep them out of my way. You just pull it to the back, twist, and trim. Push the ends forward, and then do it again. Pull and measure to 6 inches. Pinch. And go ahead and put your pipe cleaner on. Now there are 3 sections on this wreath, and each section you will put 8 poops, and that will be sufficient once you open up all your poops to make this wreath nice and full. If you enjoy craft tutorials and are interested in learning new techniques in crafting, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I do upload new content every week. So what I normally do is I complete a section and then I go back and I poof out my poops. And when I do that, you just basically need to go in and separate the 3 different colors of mesh. And then you open up your poofs as much as you can. And as you work your way through, you just want to mix the colors up, meaning you don't always want the red on the outside, the white in the middle, and the blue in the center, or on the side, sorry. So like for this one, I did red, white, and blue. So for the next one, I'd pull the white over the blue in the middle and then put the red on the opposite side. Now this does take a few minutes to go through and to open up your poofs, but it will make a huge difference in how your wreath looks. It'll look much nicer, much more cohesive, and a lot fuller if you take the time to open up your poofs. I have completed my base and fluffed it all out. This is what the back looks like, and I was able to do the whole wreath with just those 3 rolls of mesh. You're also going to need one of these signs. Now, if you can't find the sign, they also have garden stakes that have the little truck on it. It doesn't have the welcome, but you can use the truck. So you can either use the blue one or the red one, whichever you want, or whichever one you can find. Prepare these to go onto your wreath. You'll need some floral wire. Now the truck already has a hole here and here, so I just strung floral wire, one through the hole and one over the top, brought it to the back and twisted it. I cut my floral wire at about 12 inches. I picked this ribbon up at Dollar Tree. I believe it was last year. I think it's really pretty. It's nice and thick. It is only printed on one side though. You'll need to cut one piece at 6 inches, one piece at 12 inches, and 2 pieces at 16 inches. So you're going to start with your 16 inches. So go ahead and fold those together. You want them to cross by about 1 inch in the back. So just like that. And you're going to take the next piece, you're going to do the same thing. And you want them to be the same size. So if you need to adjust it, go ahead and adjust it. I have both pieces of 16-inch ribbon folded, and I have one on top of the other. Now you're going to take your 6th piece. This is what's going to be the little bump in the middle, and you want to make a curl right in the center. Okay, so you'll have 2 loops on either side and a loop in the middle, and then this one is going to be your tails. So you want to find your center. The 12 inch is your tails. So just find the center and put that in the center. Just like that. And you want to take your pipe cleaner and put it in the center. And you're going to scrunch all of that ribbon together. This ribbon is a little stiff, so you really kind of got to work on it to get it nice and tight in the center. Pinch and twist it down. And that is what your ribbon should look like once you get it fluffed out. Okay, we're going to attach our bow now. I want to attach it right at the top. All you need to do is move your Deco mesh to the side and then feed the pipe cleaners down and attach it around your wreath form. I got my bow on. I think it looks so cute. Now we're going to go ahead and attach the truck. And I want to place the truck kind of right in the middle. I got my sign attached. I'm really happy. Now the last little tidbit I'm going to add is I have some leftover table scatter from last year, so I'm going to add some of these. And I like these. They add just that little extra that you need, and just simply hot glue them onto the mesh.
And there you go, we're all done. I am really happy with how it came out. I think it is so cute and completed. This is about 13 inches in diameter. So this is perfect if you like a small wreath, and it makes it easy for you to store.
For today's project, you're going to need a 14-inch wire wreath form that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. Now, they have several different colors. They have silver, gold, or black. It doesn't matter. You can use whichever one that you can find. You're also going to need some pipe cleaners cut in half. And you'll also need some of Dollar Tree's Deco mesh. You'll need 2 rolls of each color, 2 of the white, red, and blue. You want to cut your mesh into strips at 12 inches. We're going to be doing the Cruffle method today. I have my mesh cut at 12 inches. And now we're going to start to make our bundles. I'm also going to be using my bow dabra. Now I really like this when I make Deco mesh bundles because it holds everything nicely. I can adjust it before I add my pipe cleaner. So we're going to be using this today. Now to do the Cruffle method, it's very easy, and this is a really good method to use with Dollar Tree mesh. So you have your piece cut at 12 inches. I like to use a little clip, something to weigh it down. Then you start at one end and you do a roll. Now with Dollar Tree mesh, I like to roll in about 3 times. So all those cut ends are nice and hidden in the curl. Then you turn around, you do the same thing on the other end. 1, 2, 3. And then with what's left, you do a little ruffle. So it's a curl and a ruffle, therefore you have a cruffle. Okay, and I'm going to be using the red, white, and blue. And I'm just going to alternate how I put it in so that all of the colors are different. You know, red will be on top, white will be on top, blue will be on top. And then as I place them in here, I kind of adjust them, cross them, so each of them will shine. If you come across anything that looks funny, either pull it off or trim it off. You get that sometimes with Dollar Tree mesh. Actually, you get that with pretty much any kind of mesh. And we're going to be putting 3 cruffles in each bundle. So each bundle is going to be nice and big, so we don't have to make as many. Again, you want to do a nice roll. I roll about 3 times. Add a little clip to hold it. And then do a little scrunch across the center. So this way I kind of put one in the center and then cross one on either side. That way they all have their own space and they shine. And then I lift it out, go from the bottom. Grab either side so I can get a good grip on those pipe cleaners. Pull everything down. Then I can pinch right at the base, get it nice and tight, and twist. And so you have a nice big bundle. Now, like I said, if you see anything that's sticking out or that's funny, just do a little trim, no big deal. There you go. And that's what your little bundles will look like. I'll show you one more time. I'm now attaching my bundles to my wreath form, and I have used one full roll of each color, and I've been able to cover half of my wreath form. Now look at how nice and full that is. And what's really nice is I've only had to attach 5 bundles per section to get it that nice and full. So I've been attaching it here to the 2 bars in the center, and a section is between each of the crossbars. So in between each of those, I've placed 5 bundles. Now to attach these, you just simply take your pipe cleaners, you feed it on either side of those 2 bars in the center, pull them together so it's nice and snug, and give a twist or 2. And then I like to pull my pipe cleaners together, and then I push them down, back forward. This helps keep the back of my wreath looking nice and clean, and you won't be able to see those pipe cleaners from the front. I'm going to fill in the rest of my base, and then I'll be back and show you how thick and beautiful it is. I have my base all complete, and look at how beautiful that looks. So nice, thick, and full. And as you can see, you get very little to no fraying with the Cruffle method when using Dollar Tree Deco Mesh. Now this is the sign that we're going to be using for our project. I went ahead and took it apart, and I just removed the ribbon that held everything together because I'm going to be attaching these separately. I really love the welcome. I like the way that they did it. I think it stands out, and it'll be perfect on the wreath. And then of course, who doesn't love ice cream around the 4th of July? So we're going to be adding these as well. Now to get these attached to the wreath form, I need to add some pipe cleaners. Here on the back of the sign, I'm going to be adding 2. I always start with just kind of a little dabble of hot glue. Put a little bit more on top. And then because I don't have any other way to attach this, I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon over the top. This is just going to help make sure that that hot glue holds that pipe cleaner on for me. So I'll put one on either side of that. Now this one I want to attach by itself, and then these 2 I'm going to layer. You just need to decide, which one do you want on top and how you kind of want to layer them. So I'm thinking something like that, so I'm going to glue those 2 together. And then I'm going to add a pipe cleaner to the back of each of these. Now I have my signs attached, and to attach your signs, once you get your pipe cleaners glued on and the glue has set up, you just separate your mesh and you feed those pipe cleaners down and you attach it to your wire frame in the back. Now once you do that and you have your placement and you're happy with it, then you can tighten it down, trim your pipe cleaners, and tuck them. So I'm really happy with that. Now we're going to work on the bow that goes up at the top. Now this is the ribbon I've chosen to put on this wreath, and I picked this up from papermart.com. This is 2.5 inches at 10 yards. It's called American Flag on White Wired Ribbon. It's made in Taiwan. I did pick it up at papermart.com, but I believe I've seen this at other craft stores as well. It's pretty popular for this time of year. You will need to cut 1 piece at 22 inches, 4 pieces at 16 inches, and 1 piece at about 2.5 to 3 inches. You'll also need a full-length pipe cleaner. So one piece that's at 16 inches, you want to dovetail the ends, and the long piece at 22 inches, you want to dovetail those ends. Those are going to be your tails. Now today, to help me put everything together, I'm going to be using my Bow Dabra. You can take a full-length pipe cleaner, and there's an area here where you can put it down at the bottom so it's ready to go when you are. And then I'm going to take my longest piece, which is about 22 inches, find the center, pinch, and then place that in the center. I wanted one set of really long tails on this bow, and that's what those are. Again, I'm going to take my 16 inch, fold it in half, find the center, and add that. Now the reason why I'm cutting each of the pieces and placing them to make the bow is because of the pattern. The pattern, I want to stay this way on my bow regardless of what part of the bow it's on. If I didn't cut the pieces, some of the pattern would be this way, some of the pattern would be this way, and I don't want it to show that way. I want everything to be in the same direction, so that's why I've cut each individual piece. Now I have 3 pieces left at 16 inches. I'm going to take that, fold it over itself by about an inch, press down so I can find the center, scrunch in the center, turn it over so the cut side is facing down, and place that in. And now I'm going to do that with the last 2 pieces cut at 16 inches. Once you have your 2 tails and your 3 bows in, you can pull up, pull together, and lift out. And take your pipe cleaners, twist around the front and pull to the back. You want that nice and tight. And then give it a good twist or 2. Now I want to make sure I have enough pipe cleaner to attach this to my wreath, so I'm going to place another full-length pipe cleaner down in the center, give a couple twists, and then I'm going to take one short one and wrap it around one of the longer ones. This will make it very secure, and I'll have plenty of pipe cleaner to be able to attach this to my wreath. You do that to both sides. Now here in the back, you want to have your pipe cleaners opened. We're now going to use this small piece to wrap the center. That's going to hide the pipe cleaner there. You want to make sure that, like I said, everything is facing in the correct direction. And then you do a tri-fold. So you fold one side in and then you fold the other side in. You just want to make sure that the width is only about 1/2 inch once it's folded. Okay, and then this is going to go right around the center here, and you just need to glue it down. And again, the reason why I'm doing it that way is, see, I want to keep that pattern the same. So this may not reach all the way around to the back, but as long as I have it cleanly glued down, it will work just fine. Absolutely adorable. And now all I need to do is pull down my tails, open up and separate my loops, and then it'll be ready to go onto my wreath. Now I want to put my bow right up at the top, and I left these tails really long because I wanted them to kind of come out and then down the sides. And then these can come down. Now I may adjust these and cut them a little bit shorter, but that's about where I want to place my bow. And again, you just take those pipe cleaners, feed it down in between the Deco mesh till you get to the wire frame in the back, and attach it to the wire frame. Once you have its placement and you're happy with it, I have my bow on, and I did go in and trim my tails, both of them a little bit shorter, and I like that better. Now I'm really happy with that, but it needs one more thing for the final edition, just to add that last little bit of something something. And I'm going to be adding just the white stars out of the table scatter that you can get at Dollar Tree. And I really do like this. It does come in 2 sizes, so I pulled out several in the larger and several in the smaller. And I'm just going to go around and fill that in. I think that is going to look perfect, and it's really going to stand out with that beautiful colored background. And once I find my placement, I'm just going to be hot gluing them on. You just want to make sure that they get good contact, so just hold them in their place for a few minutes till that glue has time to set up. And there you go, we are all done. I'm so happy with the end result. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I think the white stars were the perfect final addition for my patriotic wreath. I love it, my sweet taste of freedom. This wreath is perfect for the 4th of July, Memorial Day, or even to keep up all summer if you like Americana decor. Now this flower wreath is made using my new method, the rose petal method. This is a method I specifically designed to use with Dollar Tree mesh because this is a no fray method. I introduced it on my last wreath, which was my mermaid tail, so if you didn't see that, I will link that at the end. Today we're going to be working on our patriotic flower. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started on this beautiful flower wreath. To get started on today's project, you're going to need one of the 8-inch wreath forms that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. They still come in a package of 2. You're also going to need some plastic canvas. Now I recently purchased this off of Amazon, but you can get plastic canvas at Walmart, Joann's, Michael's, any of those. What I recommend is they do come with a number, and the number tells you how large the hole is. And I do recommend for wreaths that you use a number 5. So you want to take your frame, lay it down on your plastic canvas, and just trace out the inside of the ring. And then go ahead and trim that out. Once you have it cut out, you're also going to need some zip ties. This is how I'm going to be securing it to my frame. And you want to secure it in north, south, east, and west, the 4 corners. So just run it through one of the holes and then run it around the inner bar on your wreath form. If you're enjoying today's content, make sure to subscribe, and when the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, YouTube will let you know every time I upload new content. And I do upload new content to my channel every week. I have my plastic canvas attached in 4 locations. It's nice and secure. It's not going to move or go anywhere. You're going to need red, white, and blue mesh. I did pick up the mesh from Dollar Tree. You'll want to cut your mesh into strips at 12 inches. You're also going to need a package of pipe cleaners cut in half. I have my mesh cut into strips of 12 inches. And now we're going to be doing my new method, the rose petal method. You want to take the 2 cut ends and you bring them together. And you go to the side and you make sure that that's together. Then you want to fold over by about 1/2 inch, and then you keep folding over until you get to the other side, which is about 4. Then down here at the bottom, about an inch up or so, kind of scrunch or pinch together. And wrap your pipe cleaner around. I always like to bend everything down so I can get a nice tight grip, pinch and twist. And then if you have a lot of really raggedy ends, you can trim that up. You need to leave about an inch so that does not pull through. And on the other end here, you have this beautiful little bundle that looks like the center of a rose. Now on this method, you can adjust to the length depending on how long or short you want your bundles. I would say 12 inches here is probably about the longest. If you go much longer than that, you're going to lose the shape here. But I think that's really pretty. Let me show you again. I'm going to work on getting some of my bundles made, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to attach it to the wreath form. I have some bundles made. We're going to start to attach it to the wreath form. Now we're going to be attaching it to the center bar and the inner bar. When you come to the inner bar here, you'll probably have to go through one of the squares here on the plastic canvas. That's fine. That'll only help secure that to the frame. And I'm just going to do red, then white, then blue, and just alternate all the way around. Okay. So you see I have it coming through the plastic canvas and then around the center bar there. Pull that secure and give a nice twist. And then I'm just going to take my ends and actually kind of push them forward. So I push them underneath the outer ring and underneath my bundle. Okay. Then just go to the next one, and you want them relatively close. We are going to be laying them on top of each other to stack them. That looks really pretty when these are stacked. I'm just going to work on getting my first ring all the way around done, and then I'll come back and show you how to attach and place the second row. I have my first row on, and it took approximately 10 petals per section, and there are 3 sections on this wreath. I'm now moving to my second row, and I'm attaching that right at the base here of where my first row ends. And I'm doing red, white, and blue. And I have about 6 pieces per section to finish off, which should be just right. So I have 3 down. Just go to the base there of the first row, and you want to keep them still pretty snug. Put your pipe cleaners through the 2 holes there. Pull, give a nice twist or 2. Trim and then push down your pipe cleaners. Now if you would prefer to use zip ties to attach all of your bundles, by all means go ahead. I am not a zip tie person. I really prefer using the pipe cleaners. They're easier on my hands, but that is completely up to you. You can use whatever works best for you. And then as you place these, you just want to make sure that they're coming up and over and that you're hiding the first row and their ends. Okay, I'm going to work on getting my second row complete. All right, I have both rows of my rose petals on and I'm very happy. I love how they kind of stack out on the sides. Perfect. Now we're going to work on the center. For the center of our wreath, you're going to need a wood round. This one I picked up on Amazon. This is 5.88 inches. You want to look for something between 5 to 6 inches. You're also going to need a really pretty patriotic fabric. You can choose whichever one you like. And you don't need a lot. You only need enough to cover your wood round. And then you'll also need some quilt batting. I picked this up at Walmart. This large bag I think was like $12.99, and this is their medium size. They do make a smaller bag, and this will last me a long time. This is 100% polyester, Polyfeel Extra Loft. Now I have 4 layers here of the batting, and I just cut out a square, one that was big enough to cover my wood round. And now I'm just going to trim it so I can get it a little bit larger than the size of the wood round. I have my batting cut out slightly larger than my wood round. Now I also went ahead and cut out 3 layers. That's about a 1/2 inch smaller of a circle, so actually it's an inch smaller, to give me space. I want this center to be nice and poofy, so I'm going to glue down my smaller one first, and then I'm going to place the larger one on top so that when I pull it down, the center will really poof out, and that's what I want on this one. I went ahead and cut out a square that is much larger than my wood round, and I did iron this to make sure I got all the wrinkles and everything out. And then I'm going to place my 4 layers on top. I'm going to turn that over and get that kind of in the center. Now you can see why I left so much extra fabric there. And now I'm just going to trim up my sides here a little bit, take the corners off. And then I'm going to attach my fabric, and I like to attach it in the 4 corners first and then tuck in the rest. And there you go, our center is done. It's nice and poofy, it stands out. You just keep pulling and folding and gluing down. Trim off any excess fabric that may be there. And the last thing we need to do to this to be able to attach it to our wreath is add a pipe cleaner. My center is all ready to go into the middle of my flower. Now, if you can't find one of the wood rounds to be able to do the center, you can always use one of these foam pieces. This is a floral foam. You get 2 pieces. They are 4.8 inches, so they're just a little smaller than the wood rounds, and they're about 1/2 inch thick. So you could use one of these if you can't find a wood round, and that will fill up the center for you. Now, to attach this, we're just going to feed the pipe cleaners down through the plastic canvas and tie it off in the back. I am going to add a little bit of hot glue to help keep it nice and secure. I think that's absolutely adorable. Very, very pretty. Okay, now I know here on the back we have lots of little ends, which is fine. We're going to cover that up. But before I cover that up, I want to add my hanger. Just kind of pulling all of my pipe cleaners in. I originally tucked them out, but I want to cover them up because there's so many of them and I don't want it to be scratchy on the back. So you want to pull everything in. And we're going to use 1/2 pipe cleaner to add our hanger. And I just wrap it around the outer bar. Then I take the 2 ends and give them a twist. And then I take one of the short ends and I wrap it around one of the longer pipe cleaners. And then I do the same thing on the other side. That just makes it extra secure there. Then I pull that down to the bottom, lift up, and then pinch and twist again a couple times. Okay, and then you have a nice little loop there to hang your project. So pretty. Now, to cover up the back, I just cut myself out a nice piece of felt. And I'm just going to hot glue this over the back, over all those ends. Now this I got from a craft store. This is nice and thick. This is not what you get at Dollar Tree. I don't recommend using the felt that you get at Dollar Tree because it's very thin and all these sharp ends will poke through. Just add a good amount of hot glue around the edge and then place your felt. And there you go, we're all done. I'm so happy with the end result, and it only took 1 roll of each color to complete this wreath. I think it is so pretty. I wanted to show you another way to use my new no fray rose petal method.
To get started, you're going to need one of these new 14-inch bicycle wheel wreath forms that you can get from Dollar Tree. You'll also need 2 stems of these really pretty roses that I picked up from Dollar Tree. 2 stems of this greenery. It's called Artificial Fern, and it's one of the ones on the really long stems. And then you'll need 1 stem of a very small greenery. This is the one that I'm going to be using. And then I also have these really pretty red, white, and blue daisies. I purchased these a couple years ago. I had previously used them in an arrangement. So I tore up the arrangement and kept the florals. So I'm going to be filling in with a few of these. Now you can use any of the red, white, and blue florals that you can find at Dollar Tree. Now to prep your greenery and foliage, you want to snip them down to where they have about a 2-inch stem. I've already done these, and then like on this one, I always push my greenery up And then you want to leave, a couple inches there and separate them all. So go ahead and break down your greenery and your roses. I have my greenery and florals prepped. You're also going to need some floral tape. You can pick this up at Dollar Tree. It's over in the floral department. Now we're going to start with the greenery here that has the most leaves. See, the other two only have 3 leaves. This one has several. So we're going to start with this one. And then same thing, you're going to grab another piece of the other greenery and we're going to lay that right on top. Then you take your floral tape and we're going to wrap those together. Once you get your 2 greenery together, then you can start to add your florals. Now don't worry, you can straighten and adjust how your florals sit once you get everything together. Now when you go to add more greenery, instead of adding it to the top like you do the florals, you put it on the back. But same thing, you step it down and then wrap. Once all your florals and greenery are attached, then continue to wrap down the stem. So now that you have it all secured at the base, now you can go through and kind of fluff it, arrange your greenery, pull some up on the sides. Just play with it until you get them the way that you like, and then you'll want to make another one just like this. So I have both of my floral sets. Now we're going to place them. I'm going to use a spike as my center, and then I'm going to place one on either side. So I went in and I grabbed them and I bent them so that they curve in the direction I want them to go. Now to attach these to the form, I'm going to use the floral tape again. And then I'm going to take the floral tape and just wrap it around my bundle and the frame. So I have one side of my florals attached. I wrapped it right to the bar, and then once I got through the stem, I also went through and fed it in between the greenery and tied it on until I got to another one, and then I tied a knot with it right here to secure it. Now you want to add your second one to the other side the same way. Okay, I have both sides on, and I do have some roses left over because I'll probably need to fill in a little bit on either side of the bow once I get that attached. So go ahead and set that aside. We're going to work on the bow now. I'm going to be using this ribbon that I picked up at papermart.com. It's 2.5 inches by 10 yards. And it's the American flag. I really like that. And it is wired edge. You want to cut one piece at 24 inches. This is going to be your tails. 2 pieces at 20 inches and 1 piece at 6. You're going to start with your 20-inch. Fold them over each other by about 1 inch and find your center. Do the same thing with the other piece. Lay them on top of each other. Then you want to take your third piece for your tails. Find the center. Place that on the back. Turn it over. Then you want to take your 6-inch piece. This is going to be your center little bump. Place that in the center. You want it to cover itself by about 1 inch. So it looks like that. So you have one small loop and then you have two larger loops on either side and then your tails. You'll need one full length pipe cleaner and you take that and scrunch it together. Feed the pipe cleaner through your center loop. Wrap it around. On these thick bows, I like to do it twice. It just makes it easier to get it nice and tight. So pull tight, pull your pipe cleaners to the back and give a good twist. And just hold it in the middle while you fluff everything out. Pull your tails down. And open up your loops. And fluff out your bow. Just play with it until you get it the way that you like it. That's what your bow should look like when you're done. Now I'm going to cut the tails once I get it onto the wreath and I decide how long I want to keep them. Now I want to put my bow right in the middle, but if I attach it right now, it's going to sink way down to the back, which is not what I want. So I'm going to fill in on either side with my leftover roses. And these, I'm just going to add some hot glue and then feed them in, and they'll glue to the rest of the florals. So I filled in, I added one more blue and red rose on either side, and then I added a little bit more greenery. And now I'm going to place my bow, and I'm just going to use those pipe cleaners to tie it onto the frame. I got my bow on. I think it looks really cute. I did go ahead and fill in a few more flowers across the top once I got my bow attached. So the first thing that you're going to need is one of these Grapevine wreaths. I picked this up at Walmart, and this is a Hampton Home 18-inch wreath, and this cost me $4.97. You're also going to need one of these floral foams from the Dollar Tree. You're going to need some floral wire. I picked this up from the Dollar Tree as well. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and attach our floral foam to our wreath. You just need to decide where your top of your wreath is, and then in the center, on the right hand side, we're going to wire on the floral foam. So I've chosen a dark color of the wire so that it'll blend into the wreath form. Now I'm just simply going to wrap around and twist until I'm able to get this wreath foam down snugly. So now that foam is nice and secure. Now I have this really pretty scarf that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. They have several different ones to choose from, but I really liked this one that had all of the flags on it. So we're going to be using this one. So just simply fold it in half so you know where the center is. And then the center is going to be on the opposite side of your floral foam. Go ahead and open up the scarf as much as you can. It's nice and open. And you're going to pull it over to where your floral foam is and pull it from the back. And then you're going to tie a simple knot right over the floral foam. Like that. Now you want to move that knot. Try to move it more to the side of the foam. There we go.
That's better. And then go ahead and tie another knot to secure. Okay, adjust if you need to. Okay, so that's what you should have so far. I'm also going to be adding this sign that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. I thought it was very appropriate. It says, "You're a grand old flag." So I need to attach some pipe cleaners to the back. So I have 2 black pipe cleaners. I'm just going to hot glue them to the back so I can attach it to the wreath. It did come with a piece of jute cord here to hang it. I just removed that. We're going to want to let this completely dry before we attach it to the wreath. Okay, so I picked a few florals to go on my wreath. I have some of the dark blue roses. I have some red roses. And then I have one of the 4th of July bouquets. And this one has the white carnations on it. And the carnations do have just a little bit of glitter on it. And they do come with some stars. I'm not going to be using the stars on this project, but I am going to use these white carnations and these roses. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and attach our sign. Now the sign's going to go right over this floral foam. So go ahead and place it over the floral foam and feed those pipe cleaners to the back. And twist to secure. Looking good so far. Okay, just to kind of adjust the sign if you need to. You want to make sure that it's pulled over far enough that it hides the sides. And now we're going to go ahead and fill in with some of the florals. I always like to take the greenery and push it up so that you can see that too. Then you just want to decide about where you want your florals and start placing them into the floral foam. Remember, your florals are on wire, so you can always adjust them. I always get it kind of where I want, and then you can bend the head where you need it. So just go ahead and place your florals wherever you would like. I have my florals in. I decided to go ahead and add in some ferns. And what you do to add the ferns is you pull the leaves off, and then you can glue on either a piece of a skewer, which is what I've done, or you can use a piece from your floral that's left over. But you need something that's a little sturdy so that you can stick that in. Once you've got that glued, then you can go ahead and place them. And there you go. We are all done. For today's project, you're going to need one of the 14-inch wreath forms that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. You're also going to need 1 roll of the dark blue mesh, 2 rolls of red, and 2 rolls of white. You're also going to need a package of pipe cleaners or chenille stems. Today we're going to be doing the folded ruffle method. You're going to need to cut your pipe cleaners in half. And then you want to cut your Deco mesh into strips of 12 inches. So then what you do is you take your ends and you fold them over themselves by about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Press that down. Hold it while you scrunch right down the center where everything is folded together.
pinch it, and then wrap your pipe cleaner around the center and pull it to the back. Get it nice and snug. I always like to pull everything down so I can get a good grip, and then give it a good twist or two. And then you come out with this really cute, I think it looks like a little butterfly bundle. Okay. Let me show you again. So you have your piece cut at 12 inches. You want to take those ends and you fold them over each other by about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. You press it down, turn, and just like a regular ruffle, you grab at one end and you scrunch right up the center. Pinch. Wrap your pipe cleaner around. Do your best to keep it in the center. Pinch tight and give a good twist. You have your little butterfly. And then as you attach these, you're going to be attaching them to the 2 bars here in the center. Now the blue, you're going to be putting all the blue together. And 1 roll will give you 15 bundles. So I put 10 bundles in one section, and a section is between your 2 crossbars here. And then 5 into the other section. Because the blue should take up about 1/4 of the wreath. Now I always like to pull mine to the back, get it nice and tight, give it a twist or two, and then I pull my ends together and I push them forward in the wreath, and then push my bundle over. That way my back stays nice and clean. You will not be able to see those from the front once the wreath is done. It looks like I may need to add a few more bundles of the blue because I want to make sure that I'm getting 1/4 of the wreath. It looks like I need maybe just a few more. But I'm going to start adding my others and see how it goes. If I need to, I will add a few more. But we'll see. This is 1 roll of the blue. So now I'm starting to attach my red and white, and you want to attach 2 bundles of each color. That way you get a nice stripe. Plus, as you add your bundles, you can put them side by side and kind of move them so that they cover more space and you get more of a definite stripe. So what I mean is when you push it over, push one over to one side and then push the other one kind of over to the other, you'll get a wider spread of the color and a definite stripe. And then you just keep doing that around the rest of the wreath. And there you go. I have my base all done. It did take just 1 roll of the dark blue mesh and 2 rolls of the white and 2 rolls of the red. I did have a little bit of the red and the white left over. Now in each section, and that is between each of the crossbars, I placed approximately 10 to 11 bundles per section. You're also going to need some white paint. I'm going to be using the Apple Barrel White. Now during Christmas time, Dollar Tree sold some packages of these small wood cutouts of stars. I'm going to be using these. If you didn't happen to pick them up at Christmas time, I do know that Michael's carries some, and Hobby Lobby, and I believe I've also seen them at Walmart. You'll need, these are, I'd say, about 1 inch wide, and you'll need about 10 or 11 of them. You just want to get a good coat of white paint on there, and you want to make sure to get those little edges on the sides. If you enjoy hauls, crafts, and learning new craft techniques, please consider subscribing to my channel I do upload new content every week. And if you hit the notification bell, YouTube will let you know every time I post new content. The last thing I need to do is just attach my stars to my blue mesh. And I'm going to do that just by hot gluing them on. Add a little dollop on the back and place them where you like. Just try to get them evenly distributed. And there you go. I have all my stars on and we are all done. I really do love this wreath. It's very simplistic, but very festive. To get started on today's project, you're going to need a 14-inch wired wreath form and a package of pipe cleaners cut in half. You're also going to need 6 rolls of the dark navy blue Deco mesh that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. Today we're going to be doing the poof method on the base. Now when I work with more than one roll of mesh at a time, I like to put one out on either side of my body. Deco mesh really likes to stick to itself, so this way the rolls don't tangle as I'm using them. Then you want to take your ends, scrunch them together, and you want to place them side by side. Just like that. You can secure on your pipe cleaner. Just make sure you get that nice and secure. We're going to be attaching our poofs to the 2 bars here in the center. So you'll wrap it around both of those bars. That'll make it nice and stable. And to get started, I always like to start here at a crossbar so it's nice and secure. Just wrap your pipe cleaners around either side of that crossbar and give it a good twist. I like to pull my pipe cleaners together and then push them forward. Make sure to pull those ends to the back. You can give them a little bit of a trim, but you want to leave about 1 inch there so it doesn't pull back through. You're also going to need something to measure with. I'm going to be using my mat here. Now you want to start your measurement from where you attached the pipe cleaner. Okay, so I'm going to pull to 8 inches, pinch. Add my pipe cleaner. And then I'm going to attach it to those 2 bars in the middle. Push your pipe cleaners forward and move over your poof. You'll want to put about 10 poofs in each section, and a section is between each of the crossbars. So just go ahead and keep measuring at 8 inches. Pinch, add your pipe cleaner, and attach. Now your first 2 rolls should cover the first 2 sections of the wreath. I have all my mesh on and I'm really liking how it's looking. Now I did decide to go in and to fluff a little bit, but all I'm doing is going in and separating my loops, making sure that they're not folded on top of each other. But I'm not really opening each individual one up like I normally do. I kind of like them a little bit thicker together. But I do want each individual loop to show, so it looks nice and full. My base is all nice and fluffed out. I think it looks great. Nice and thick and full. This is the sign that I've chosen to use today. I just recently found it in my stores. They took quite a while before they got in all their signs. And this was one of my favorites. I only picked up 2 of the Gnome signs. Now to prep him to go on your wreath, you want to remove the jute cord at the top and replace it with some floral wire. One through the hole and over the top and twist to the back. You want to do that in both of the holes. And then down near the bottom, just glue on 2 full-length pipe cleaners. This way you can attach your sign in 4 locations. Now right here on his star, I am going to go in with some glue and some royal blue glitter and kind of clean this up. This was kind of messed up on most of them, but this one looked the best. So I will clean that up and get it looking a little bit better before I put it on my wreath. My sign is all ready to go onto my wreath. I did clean up my blue glitter here. It looks much better. Everything is nice and set up and ready to attach. I like my signs to sit right up on top. He's going to go right here in the middle on top. Now to attach him, all you do is take those pipe cleaners and the floral wire. Just move the mesh aside until you get down to the wreath form in the back. And then attach it to the wreath form. You can attach it any place you want on the wreath form as long as it holds your sign in the position that you want it. I have my sign attached. I'm really happy with its placement. And here on the back where I attached it, I just made sure to tuck down those ends both on the pipe cleaners and the wires so that there's nothing on the back to scratch the door. Go ahead and set that aside. We're going to work on the bow now. I picked up both these ribbons at Dollar Tree and they came from the Patriotic section. They have a burlap background. This one has the red, white, and blue stars. And this one has red and blue, and then the burlap. I thought both of these were really pretty. We're going to mix the 2 to do our bow. You'll also need 1 full-length pipe cleaner. So I am going to start with the striped one in the back. And I'm going to measure out my tails at 8 inches and pinch. And as I come through, you want to twist. On your tails, the nice side should be facing up. But as you start to make your loops, you want to twist it so that the nice side is facing down. So I'm going to measure my loops at 4 inches and I'm going to make 3 on either side. Measure your tail at 8 inches and trim. Okay, now I'm going to go to my star ribbon. I'm going to measure my tails a little shorter. This time I'm going to go 7 inches. Again, twist as you come through so the nice side is facing down. And then with this ribbon, I'm going to do 2 loops on either side at 3 inches. And measure your tail at 7. I'm going to go back to the striped ribbon. This time I'm going to measure my tails at 6 inches, and I'll do 1 loop on each side. And that loop is going to be 3 inches, 1 on each side. You want to take your pipe cleaner. I like to slide it in on one side. This just helps me keep everything together. Pull it up, just twist it so that you can keep it stacked and lift up. Now it's important to keep that stacked just the way you have it, so make sure you get that nice and snug. Pull that to the back. Pull real tight and give it a good twist. My pipe cleaners are going to be too short to attach it to my wreath, so I need to add another one. Just lay it inside. Give a couple twists. And then I take one of the short ones and wrap it around one of the longer ones. And you do that to both sides. So that's fully secure, and now you have enough pipe cleaner to attach it to your wreath. Now we're going to take the star material and we're going to make a loop here. This is going to go in the center. About 7 inches trim. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in on either side so it's not quite as wide. And then I'm going to hot glue that right around the center. Now it's up to you to decide how tightly you want that wrapped. And you wrap it over the pipe cleaner and hot glue it in the back. If you have any excess ribbon, just trim it off. But it's up to you to decide whether you want it a little bit tighter or looser, whatever looks right to you. You got the center glued on, and then you just want to go ahead and open up your loops and pull down your tails. I did go ahead and trim my tails. I just dovetailed the striped ones and just cut the other ones at an angle with the stars. I think that looks really pretty. I'm going to place my bow now. And I want it up on the side here. I want to make sure that I can read what is on his hat. So again, you just take those pipe cleaners, you feed them down through the mesh and attach it to the wire frame wherever you need to get that bow to sit where you want it. I got my bow on. I'm really happy with that. I just kind of played with the tails and the loops until I got it to where I liked it. I don't want to cover up too much of the hat here. I want to be able to read my words. Now the final addition to this, I grabbed a package of 3 American flags. I'm going to be adding one of those here on the side. I think that will be the perfect addition to finish off this wreath. And I'm just going to add some hot glue and stick it behind the sign, between the sign and the mesh, so it will actually glue to both. That'll help it hold its position. And make sure to play with it right away, get it in the spot you want. And here you go, we are all done. I think it looks absolutely adorable. I'm really happy with how the bow turned out. And I really love the sign on this beautiful, solid, dark navy blue. It really makes him stand out. To get started, you're going to need one of the 14-inch wreath forms that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. You're also going to need some decorative mesh. Now I picked this up in their 4th of July section, and this is the Floral Garden decorative mesh. It's still 6 inches at 5 yards, and you will need 6 packages to do this wreath. You'll also need a package of pipe cleaners cut in half. So I've opened up the mesh and I have had a look at this mesh, and this is not very good mesh at all. They did not finish any of the edges. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but you see all those white pieces. So we are going to have some unraveling. I was originally going to do a different method, but now that I've looked at this mesh, plus it is quite thin in color and it really stretches and moves around. So I was originally going to do the Cruffle method, but I think instead I'm going to do the folded ruffle method. With this type of mesh, the folded ruffle or the poof or bubble method are the only ones I would use this mesh on. So to get started here, we're going to want to cut our mesh at 12 inches. And I usually layer my 2 rolls. I cut 2 rolls at a time. It just makes it go a little bit faster. Now, if you don't have a rotary cutter, you can pick one up at Dollar Tree. And let me tell you, I've been using this one for quite some time. They last me a good 6 months, and for $1.25, that's a great deal. If you don't have that, you can always use your scissors. Now we're going to be using 1 roll of mesh per section, so that's why you need 6 rolls. There are 6 sections. Usually when I do this method, I can get away with 5 rolls of mesh, but because this mesh is so thin and not in the best of shape, I'm going to need to pack it in there, so I will need that extra roll. So once you have your pieces cut at 12 inches, we're going to make our little bundles. You'll need half a pipe cleaner. Now you want to fold your mesh over itself by 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Then you press it down. Now with this mesh, you really need to hold it down because it really moves. Then you start at one end, kind of go up to the middle on this. And then I grab the other end and I pull that back into the center. Just because this mesh is really kind of bad this time. I don't know what Dollar Tree was thinking. Then you want to pull that to the back, pinch it, get it nice and tight, and then there you go. A pretty little bundle. All your ends are folded in and scrunched in the back. So this is the perfect method to use for this type of mesh. I will show you one more time. Go ahead and take your piece of 12-inch mesh. You want to fold it over itself by about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Press down, hold well. Then with this stuff, I scrunched up to the center and then grab the top and scrunch down. That way I'm guaranteed to get that in the center. I have a much more even bundle. Now I really like this method when working with striped mesh. I think it looks really pretty. Now when we're attaching our mesh to our wreath here, we're going to be attaching it to the 2 bars here in the center. And between each section, you're going to put 1 full roll, which you should get about 15 bundles off of 1 roll. So you're going to put that in each section, and a section is between each of the crossbars. Now what I do is I usually put the first one on the crossbar and then put the other 14 in between, and then on the next section I put the first one on the crossbar and then the other 14. But you can do it however you like. Just slip those on either side of those 2 center bars. Pull it to the back and then give it a twist or 2. And then I like to pull my pipe cleaners together. And then I push those forward. And then here on my little bundle, I want to pull it together and slide it over. Right next to the bar if I haven't attached it to the bar. Okay. And then the next one, go ahead and add that too. Push your pipe cleaners forward. And then move over. Now what I like to do with this is I'll usually pull 1 to one side and then 1 to the other. And then just continue that stack as I go. Now because this mesh is red, white, and blue, just as you're building your little bundles, you want to make sure that you're changing the sides of where the red and the blue are. You don't want to end up with a blue stripe on the outside and a red stripe on the inside and the white stripe in the middle. You want them to be nice and mixed. I have the base all done. I've gone through and kind of fluffed out and just, you know, pull 1 to each side so you get your width, and then clean up anything that looks funny. Now here in the back you can see it looks nice and clean, and I did use 6 rolls of this mesh, 1 roll per section, and I'm very happy. It was a little work to get it there, but I'm very happy with this result. Now the next thing that we're going to add are these really pretty necklaces. I found them in the Patriotic section, and you get 2 necklaces and they are 32 inches in diameter. And then when you open this up, you do get 2 necklaces per package. And each necklace is 3 strands, and the strands have been twisted together, and they are connected here with this little piece of plastic. So at the top here on one side, you want to trim it so that it comes into one long piece. And then how we're going to attach this to the wreath is with some floral wire. So cut a small piece, just a couple inches long, and then you want to attach it here at the end, and I'm going to wrap it around and then twist it right where this plastic meets the necklace. So then I've got my wire there that I can use to attach to my wreath. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to start right here on a crossbar. So I'm just going to put that wire underneath and wrap it around that crossbar. Give it a couple twists, pull up, trim a little shorter, and then make sure to tuck down those sharp ends so that it doesn't scratch the door. Sometimes I like to just wrap it around the bar. So now the necklace is nice and secure. Then you just need to decide if you want to go straight across. I'm going to go kind of at an angle. And then as it comes down here on the side, I'm going to attach it again using floral wire to the bar. So I have another small piece of floral wire. And you don't want to go too tight because you don't want to push down the mesh. You want it to lay on top of the mesh. So decide where you want it to go. Find your spot. I'm just going to wrap the floral wire around the 3 necklaces and give it a little twist to secure. Okay. And then now I'm going to go back to the outside, find my spot, and attach it. And I'm going to do that all the way around the wreath. I have 1 package of the necklaces, which is 2 necklaces attached. And that was the perfect amount to go around the wreath once. And I did end up attaching it at the crossbars, either on the outside or the inside. And I do like that, but I think I'm going to go around 1 more time. So I'm going to use 1 more package. And I'm going to just attach it on the opposite. So it's like a crisscross. So where I attached on the inside before, I will attach on the outside. Now I have 2 packages of the necklaces, which is a total of 4 necklaces on. I really do like that. Now you can see how I crisscross them. So I just moved from inside to outside and I attached them onto the crossbars. I did the first set and then I went back and attached it to where I didn't attach it the first time. I'm really happy with that. I really like that extra sparkle. The sign that I'm going to be using for the wreath today is this one, Land of Liberty, Let Freedom Ring. I thought this was really cute. I actually picked this sign up from Dollar General, and it actually had a little kickstand here on the back. And I just pulled that off and then added 2 pipe cleaners onto it so I can attach it to my wreath. I really thought this was cute. I liked the color tones and thought it would go well with the wreath. So you want to go ahead and prep your sign. Now we're going to attach our sign, and we're just going to use our pipe cleaners here to attach it. Decide where you'd like to place it, and then separate the mesh and feed your pipe cleaners down in between until you can get to the back frame, and then attach it to the frame in the back. Once you get your sign on there, go ahead, make sure that it's adjusted, that you have it where you want it before you fully tighten it down. Now I'm really happy with the placement of my sign. I lowered it just a little bit. I wanted to add something up here. I have these really cute little pinwheels that I picked up. I believe I got these from the 99-cent store. They came in a package of 2 for 99 cents. I think they're absolutely adorable. I do need to trim the length. They're a little too long. So once you decide where you want to cut them, go ahead and trim them. Now these are some garden shears that I picked up from Dollar Tree, and these work really well for cutting this type of stuff. You just kind of have to squeeze a couple times and it pops right off. It has a nice little indentation there, so it's easy to cut stems and pieces of wood. Now I'm going to slide these in behind the sign. I will hot glue them in once I have my placement. I kind of want one going one way and one kind of coming the other. So I want to make sure I have plenty of room for both of the pinwheel heads. So this is kind of what I'm thinking of. I think that looks really cute to go right above the sign. And then I'm going to place a bow on the other side. So that'll take care of that side. But I think that'll look really pretty and add a special touch to the wreath. Okay, so I'm going to get those hot glued in. Now this, you want to put glue all the way around because you want it to attach to the sign as well as the Deco mesh. And once you get it placed, if you need to, go ahead and add a little bit more glue. Make sure both heads have enough room. If you need to adjust, go ahead and adjust before they fully set up. Oh, I think that looks absolutely adorable. We're going to work on the bow now. I have my easy bow maker. Now I have a little bit of this ribbon left over from last year and I really do like it. It's just red and white striped. And this is 7/8 of an inch. And I believe I did pick this up from Walmart. And it is the Offray brand. And then I also picked this one up from Walmart. This is the dark blue with white polka dots. And this one is also the Offray brand. And this is 1.5 inches at 9 feet. Now I really do like the bright colors. They're the perfect colors for the 4th of July, yet they're not traditional. My Dollar Trees really haven't gotten a lot of ribbon or a lot of Memorial Day, 4th of July stuff in yet. Most of the stuff is like leftover from last year. I also have this ribbon, but I decided I don't really want to go with this one. I want something a little less traditional because of the other elements I have on the wreath. So I'm going to be using these. And I also have one full-length pipe cleaner. Now I'm going to start with my largest ribbon, which is this one. Now neither of these ribbon are wired edge. They both have soft edges. So I'm not going to make a very big bow. Otherwise my loops will be really limp. So I'm going to start by measuring my tail at 8 inches and then I'm going to pinch. And on this ribbon I'm going to pinch and twist and then I'm going to take that twist and put it in. Okay, so I have the nice side of the ribbon here where the tail is facing up, but then I pinched and twist to this side where I'm going to start to build my bow. The nice side of the ribbon is facing down. Okay. And I am going to do, let's do 2 on either side. Come up here and then I'm going to pinch and twist and bring that down. I just find with the thicker ribbon sometimes that makes it a little easier if you pinch it and twist it before going in. If it has a wired edge, it usually works and behaves, but sometimes when it doesn't and the ribbon is thick, it gives you a little bit of trouble. Go ahead and measure. Find where you're going to come through. Again, pinch and twist. You want 2 loops on either side at 4 inches. On the last loop, once you come through, you do not need to twist because you want to keep the nice side facing up for your tail. Measure that at 8 inches in trim. And now I'm going to use this ribbon. Like I said, I don't have a lot of this ribbon left. So on this one, I'm only going to measure my tail at 6 inches. Pinch and slide it in. And then this ribbon is beautiful on both sides, so I don't need to twist. And I'm going to measure my loops at 3 inches, and I'm going to do 1 loop on either side at 3 inches. Okay, I am going to readjust this because it looks like if I readjust my tail, I can get 2 loops on either side. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shorten my tail to 3 inches. And then make 2 loops on either side at 3 inches. Okay, then measure this side out at 3 inches. Actually, looks like that's 4 inches. So put 4 inches. I'm going to keep this because I'm going to use this to wrap the center. Take my full length pipe cleaner. Go ahead and slide that down underneath. So it comes right next to it. And you want to lift up and pull over. So this will help you hold it together as you lift it out. And you want to make sure you keep that stacked the same way so the bow comes out the way that you want. I usually leave one longer so that I can wrap it around. So pull your pipe cleaners to the back. Pull nice and tight. Once you get it nice and tight, give it a good twist or two. Okay, so pull down your tails and pull apart your loops. If you need to do any adjusting, if it's not laying the way you need it, go right down to where it's tied down, grab it and twist it so it'll lay in the direction you want it to. Now, fluffing out your bow can take a long time, especially when you have ribbon that doesn't like to work with you. So just take your time and be patient. don't be afraid to pull. I like to hold the center, that way I know I'm not going to pull too much and pull a loop out. Okay, so you want to separate the two blue loops and then separate your two red and white loops. So your bow should look something like that. Now I like to trim my tails once I get my bow on my wreath, and I will go back and I will do a little bit more adjusting on my bow once I get it on the wreath. Now we're not quite done yet. So I want to add this to the center because I want to cover that pipe cleaner up. So now see, if I just wrap it around like that, it looks way too wide. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in on either side to make it a little thinner. And if I need to, I can always tack that down with a little bit of hot glue to help me. Just put a little dot here and there and then fold over. So you can see how I folded both sides over. Now I can wrap this around the center and it doesn't look too thick. So I'll start to attach it here in the back. You want to open your pipe cleaners, one on either side. Just add some hot glue in the center and start on one end. Now my piece is a lot longer than what I need, and I did that for a reason. I want to not have it too tight, so I want to make sure that I have enough fabric to get it the way that I like it. Because if you pull too tight, you know, that looks kind of cute. If you go too loose, it doesn't look right. So this way I can adjust however the length I want. I don't want it to scrunch down too much, but I want to get good coverage. I think that looks really cute, just like that. Then I can come to the back here, add a little bit more hot glue, and attach that down. And trim off my excess fabric here. Very cute. So I want to place my bow right up here, a little off center. I want to make sure that my little pinwheels here have plenty of room. So I'm going to place it here, and I want it kind of up at the top. And there you go, my bow is on. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I did trim my tails on my larger ribbon. I did do a dovetail. And here on my smaller ribbon, I just cut the ends at an angle. I decided to shorten up my blue ribbon. I like that much better. But I am very happy with the end result of my beautiful patriotic or Americana wreath.
Thank you so much for stopping by. If you made it all the way to the end, leave a flag emoji in the comment section below. These wreaths are constructed using different methods, techniques, and materials. If you enjoy craft tutorials and hauls, you're going to want to check out these other videos. Have a great day, take care of yourself, and let me know which one was your favorite wreath. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.